Alrighty, so it's the day after what you can maybe call it a championship Wednesday because we had three final that happened yesterday with the Camponenes Cup, the US Open Cup, and the Canadian Championship final as well. And we'll only watch two out of the three because I wasn't able to watch the Canadian Championship since it was the same time as the US Open Cup final, and apparently Apple TV don't do the Canadian Championship when it comes to the broadcast. So yeah, there was really no way of me watching it. I mean, I can maybe find a knockoff stream, but nah, I'll just focus mainly on the U.S. Open Cup. Though I have heard of some of the things that was said in the Canadian Championship final, which by the way, congratulations to the Vancouver Whitecaps, making a repeat now in terms of the Canadian Championship, and that's kind of crazy to see because they have won more championship in these last 3 years in the Canadian Championship than they have ever done ever since joining the league in the 2010s. I mean, Vancouver has really started to own that monopoly. It used to be TFC and Montreal, but now Vancouver has really kind of dominated that. And speaking of TFC, Vancouver was able to beat TFC in that final, even though Toronto had a chance to win that game, especially they had a penalty in that game. And the big story coming out of that one is Isaac Bohm, the backup goalkeeper for the Whitecaps. He came up big in that game, making a big penalty save there from Benedeski and come up big in the shootout as well. Really kind of the hero in terms of the Whitecaps, gaining the three-peats and now once again back in the CONCACAF Champions Cup for next season. Now that being said, moving now to talk about the Campeones Cup, which I do think that maybe this could be the last year we might see this competition. It just feels very redundant when we see the Campeones Cup, knowing that we already have Leeds Cup and also the CONCACAF Champions Cup in sense. I mean, I guess that it is a showcase between two of the best team in the region, and in this case, the Columbus Crew. They were coming into this game as ranked the number one team in the CONCACAF region against a Club America team that Club America. They might not be ranked number one right now, but they're definitely ranked number one in terms of popularity in the North American region. It's the most supported team in the North American region right now. And I gotta say, this game kind of lived up to its expectation in terms of a heavyweight bout because it was a very tactical kind of game. It really kind of felt like a cup final, but ultimately it comes down to the PK shootout. And yeah, unfortunately, Columbus didn't have any luck this time in the PK shootouts against a Liga MX team like they did in the CONCACAF Champions Cup. Now, in the first half, I thought the Crew had most of the possession early. Oh, by the way, did I mention that I'm actually going to combine both this and the U.S. Open Cup in the review? Originally, I was going to do it in two separate video, but I thought, you know what, let's just do it in one video as well. There's really no point of me making two separate video. Consider both of those games are kind of like back to back on each other yesterday. But as I mentioned, the Crew had most of the possession early. They were on the front foot. Although there was a shout for a penalty for America that was not given. America, I then thought that they started putting the high press, kind of giving Columbus a little taste of their own medicine because Wilfred Nancy's and he likes to do the high press. He likes to win the ball back high up the pitch. But America is saying, nah, we're gonna do it against you, and it was really testing this Columbus back line. And again, it's not surprised that they decided to do that because this uh Columbus back line, it's been shaky this season. As good as this attack is, I still think their back line at times is a little shaky, giving up bad goals and turning the ball over in bad spot. And I think America probably saw that in the scouting report, and that's why they were pressing high. And unsurprisingly, there was a couple of times the Crew turned the ball over in a bad spot that almost cost them early in this game. But in the 15th minute, we did see the first shot of the game as Brian Rodriguez hits one right to Schultze. America was starting to dominate possession and control the game. So yeah, again, this is also a game where it's between two teams that likes to dominate possession. So something has to give, and at least early on, it looked like the Crew were the one that dominated possession. But then Club America said, "Now we're gonna dictate the play of this game." In fact, the shots were 4-0 for America up to this point, but really none of these shots were anywhere close and not really any big chances created up to this point. There was a shout for a penalty for Columbus not given, which means that the fans basically told the referee he sucked. And not only that the Crew fans told the referee he sucked, but they did it in a pretty explicit way, and I won't mention it in this video for demonetization reason. But in the 38th minute, first shot for Columbus, see Arvson puts it way wide off of a deflection. Yeah, the Crew was really kind of struggling in terms of creating chances against this America backline. And it also doesn't help the fact that they were kind of not being able to play their game, which is a team that's known to dominate possession and work their opposition. But in the 40th minute, Cucho would puts it wide from the corner before the Schulte would deny Zendejas from long range. Things started to kind of open up a little bit. Again, it was a little bit tight in the beginning, but you just kind of had a sense in the cup final kind of feel the game was gonna open up, and it was kind of the case as both of these teams were looking for the opening goal. Malagon then denied Rossi on the header in the 45th minute, but we do head to halftime scoreless between both of these teams in this Camponenes Cup. Now in the second half, Columbus well, they once again had most of the possession, but they were not really taking too much risk in terms of trying to breaking down the back line, partially because this American back line was very strong up to this point, and that's kind of the case when you're an MLS team trying to break down a Liga MX back line. The defense in Liga MX is definitely much more organized compared to what we see in MLS. But in the 57th minute, Malagon would deny Ramirez after just a bad giveaway from America. So yes, I might have just said that too soon because there's a bad mistake there from Club America. Very fortunate they were not made to pay. Rodriguez then missed wide into the side netting, but then in the 67th minute on a lightning counterattack, Davia would score from Fidalgo to give Club America a 1-0 lead there. It was a really good counterattack that really caught the crew off guard. And again, the crew, this is a team that likes to push man forward, but when you push man forward, you are kind of exposed in the counter, and this is kind of why I'm kind of surprised that not many teams try to do that. I guess maybe mainly because the crew, the way that I think the reason why teams don't usually get a lot of counterattack off of them, despite the fact they're a team that likes to control the ball, is because they likes to push man forward and they really suffocate you before you even have a chance to go on the counter. But here they weren't able to do so. It bypassed that original line, and there was tons of space for America to work on. In fact, Davia was in on goal when that happened. The crew was just having way too many men forward up front, and they paid the price for it as Club America takes a 1-0 lead. Rossi did look to respond, but he missed wide. The crew continued to dominate possession, but again, that was by design because America was going to make the crew really work to try to break them down, which is something they haven't done up to this point. That all changed in the 77th minute, and it came off of a set piece. So if you can't break your team down in open play, set piece can be your best friend. And here we have Multi Amundsen that scores the goal here from Cucho and Rossi. Multi Amundsen always seems to be involved either on the goal scoring and assist chart in a big game like that, and it's no surprise that that is the case. But unfortunately, as we'll talk about in a little bit, he basically went from hero to zero late in this game as well. But yeah, he scored here to tie the game up at one apiece. It was a lovely setup on the corner and a nice little flick there from Cucho to set up Amundsen in the back post. So Rowe did try to take the lead for Columbus late, but he missed wide from close range. But we do end in regulation in a 1-1 draw. So we go straight to a PK shot because unlike in the US Open Cup, in the Campeones Cup, there's no extra time. So we go straight to a PK shot. It went for a while, and there was definitely some storylines as there was PK miss in round 2 and 6 for both of the team. But ultimately, in round number 7, it's Araujo or Arujo, depending on how you pronounce it. He wins it for America in round number 7 after Amundsen struck the post there. So yeah, like I said, Multi Amundsen went from an absolute hero to force the PK shot for Columbus to kind of went from zero, missing the crucial PK shot there. And like I said, both of these teams missed their respective PK in both round 2 and round 6. That's very rare. You see two teams miss their PK in the same round, not once but twice in this game as well. But yeah, in the end, Club America they win the this Cup with a 5-4 PK shot win. Shots in this one, 9 shots for the 14 that Columbus had. Both teams had 4 shots on goal, 4 shots off target for the 1 that Club America has, 3 shots was blocked for the 5 that Club America has, and possessed-wise, 52% possession compared to the 48% possession that Columbus has in this game. And again, it just really felt like a Cup final kind of vibe, and it just kind of felt like one of those games where both teams was just so good in this game that it's kind of unfortunate that somebody had to lose in a Cup final, and unfortunately for the Columbus crew, they're the one that had to lose this one. I mean, I don't think they play a bad game in this one against Copa America. I thought they played well in this game as well. Though, if you ask Wilfred Nazi, he'll be a little not only disappointed not winning this trophy, even though I know some people might think that this trophy is meaningless. Don't tell that to both head coaches. They started their strongest team in this one, and it just kind of had that feeling of that kind of a heavyweight matchup between both of these teams, which maybe that's kind of keep the argument of keeping this competition. But obviously, as I mentioned, there's a reason why there's a lot of strong opposition in this competition, knowing that it just feels like it's clearly a money grab, and it's all also just it's too saturated now that we have the Leagues Cup involved, and not to mention we already had the CONCACAF Champions Cup. We don't need another competition where it's an MLS versus Liga MX game. Especially, I feel like this is the fourth time we had this talk about MLS versus Liga MX, because you also don't forget what happened in the MLS All Star. Which, guess what? Newsflash: it's MLS All Star versus Liga MX All Star. So yeah, again, I can see why people were kind of hating the fact that, oh great, we're gonna get another MLS versus Liga MX special. How many are we gonna see this year? I mean, one or two is enough, but four times already this in a single season, yeah, it does get oversaturated, and people feels like it's kind of all over done. But in terms of the competition, is that in terms of well, this game itself, I mean, it was an entertaining game to watch between two heavyweights. But again, the argument is there for this competition to not be there. I mean, I'm pretty sure the Yankees fans will be happy they get the bragging rights in this one. MLS fans will say that, well, this is just another glor just kind of a little glory kind of competition. Position that doesn't really mean too much. I mean, the winner of this doesn't even get into the CONCACAF Champions Cup. The only reward is just to win a trophy, and the trophy that they have isn't even the best trophy that I've seen in the CONCACAF region. But that being said, I'm now going to switch sports, and actually, I'm going to switch sports straight away because I do this sometimes when I do the preview and the review, and I'll definitely do it again when I do the preview later today, because I got a lot of videos I got to do before I go on that 1 week trip to Miami starting tomorrow. But yeah, we got the U.S. Open Cup final between LAFC versus Sporting KC, and there was definitely controversy in this game, and we'll talk about that goal that LAFC scored that probably shouldn't have counted, and had a lot of Sporting KC very upset, and feel like this final was clearly rigged for LAFC. Now, early on in the first half, the first shot of the game, see Lloris denied Shari from close range. I thought LAFC had most of the possession early, but that seems like it was by design, because Sporting KC knew that this is a team that if you give them possession, I mean, they can still break you down, but LAFC is more dangerous when they go on those dangerous counterattack and not have possession, which again, that maybe is something that we're started seeing with these last couple of games, where maybe teams are starting to figure out that the goal of beating LAFC, or at least get points against LAFC, just simply don't have possession and don't allow them to hit on the counter attack, because if they do that, you allow them to do it, then yeah, it could be game over. I mean, it's not easy to do do so, but in the last couple of games, you kind of have started to see that LAFC has kind of really struggled, because they haven't been able to get those successful counterattack kind of soccer that made them really successful during the Leeds Cup, and even before the Leeds Cup campaign. Giroud then hits it wide from close range before Lloris denied Polito in the far post. Bogusz then puts it wide from close range, as the shots were 4-2 early for LAFC up to this point. Lloris then denied Russell from long range. The possession was 54-46 in favor of LAFC. Again, this is kind of unlike a Sporting KC side. Peter Rami's team always like to dominate possession, but he knew that if he does that, you might as well just kind of throw this game away, because that just played right into the hands of LAFC. Bawanga then puts it right to Milia. Been a very even game, just like the last one. This game kind of had that cup final feel, though I think this game was a little bit more open compared to the Camponenes Cup that we saw earlier. But yeah, there's been some half chances, but who can draw that first blood in the final? Giroud tried to do so, but Melia absolutely robbed him after a lightning counter from LAFC. So yeah, there you go. This is the thing that I'm pretty sure Sporting just didn't want to see. They do not want to get caught on those lightning counterattack from LAFC. But we do head to halftime scoreless between both of these teams. In the second half, Tommy would put it wide from long range in the 48th minute. But then in the 53rd minute, this is where the controversy began. So Olivier Giroud would score from Bogusz and Palencia to make it 1-0 in favor of LAFC. But that probably should have been offside. And honestly, I have looked multiple angle on that. I know LAFC fans have argued the fact that, there wasn't definitive angle in terms of seeing it. And the angle that they showed in the VAR, it wasn't really the best angle. But I do think that, I think just looking at the grass there, and there was kind of like a cut of grass that you can kind of tell who is onside or not. I think Bogusz on the development play was in an offside position. I think he was just a little bit offside. I don't think it's as egregious as some Sporting KC fans think that it is way offside because on that. I think it is close, and I know this is where also the argument of, well, if it's close too close to call, then they should just keep the call. And even though the referee didn't go to monitor, they did at least check VAR to see whether or not indeed that was offside. And again, just in my opinion, I do think that was offside. It wasn't by much, but I do think it was all offside. And in a magnitude game like this, yeah, you got to get these call right. And this is kind of the last thing I want to see, and one of the downfall when it comes to VAR being introduced in the U.S. Open Cup, and maybe even VAR introduced in general, where there's just so many of these kind of moments where VAR gets it wrong, and when it gets it wrong, and when it gets in these big games like that, oh, you're gonna hear it from fans. And again, I don't blame Sporting fans for being very upset in terms of that call. Though I will say that I have heard a lot of Sporting fans have solely blamed this call as the reason why they lost this game. No, I think LAFC were the better team in this one, but it's very unfortunate in this situation that they found themselves 1-0 down because of this controversial offside call. The good news for them is that at least justice prevailed, because yeah, this would not be a very good look if this was the only goal of this game. Which again, I maybe that kind of sums up in terms of just absolute shenanigans that's gone on with this competition, and there's still question about the future of this competition heading into next year as well. But at least justice did kind of prevail in the 60th minute, because Sporting KC would get the equalizer, and that lead did not last long, as Eric Tommy, he scored from Shari and Russell to tie the game up at one apiece. Just kind of continue to validate why I put Eric Tommy as the MVP of this team. I mean, he's been amazing for this team, both on the assist chart and the goal scoring as well. This time it wasn't really a long range effort, but certainly a good a big goal to tie the game up. And again, maybe some justice has been prevailed because of that controversial goal that they gave up just a couple of minutes ago. Then there was a shout for a penalty not given to LAFC before Polito would hit one right to Lloris. Amelia would then absolutely rob Bogusz from a point blank effort. And I thought, will that moment come back to haunt LAFC? Because Bogusz, he was there. Like, he was all alone. All he has to do is kind of bend it around Melia. Now, I know Tim Melia might not be the easiest goalkeeper to beat even in a 1v1 situation, but still, I mean, that is one that you see Mateusz Bogusz score most of the time, and you just kind of had a sense that that kind of moment not only can come back to haunt LAFC, but is that narrative once again going to happen where this team just cannot get it done in terms of these cup final. Though I also say that Sporting got away with one there after just some unconvincing defending in the box. Bawanga then hits the side netting from close range. It was an okay game from Denise Bawanga, though I don't think he was that impactful, at least for the most part, on the attack. I thought Sporting KC did a good job at least limiting his ability to use those flanks as he does all the time throughout this game. But there was no doubt that momentum was with LAFC. They were pressing to try to get one back. Holland's head had a shot that was deflected and wide. Bogusz then flashed one just wide from long range. Sporting might be playing for extra time and penalties, as LAFC was pushing hard to get the winning goal. And I don't blame them, because, if it does go to a PK shootout, the advantage is clearly on Sporting KC. I mean, they have literally probably one of the best penalty kick stopper in the league, and maybe the best penalty kick stopper in the league, especially heading into the PK shootout. But unfortunately, to get to the PK shootout, unlike what we see in the Camponenes Cup, they still have to play through that 30-minute in extra time. And this is also where I'm starting to get a little concerned with the pressure, and also just the fatigueness started to get into Sporting, because again, when you defend for so much like that, it takes more energy, and not to mention it's a short week too. So yeah, you kind of saw it in extra time that it kind of play a big factor. Though Russell did hit one right to Lloris before Bawanga hits it right to Melia in the third minute stoppage time. But we do head to the end of regulation tied up at one apiece. And again, unlike in the Campeones Cup, this goes to extra time. So in the first half of extra time, Agata just missed one on an outstretched leg. Not much chances really created early on. It just feels like both of these teams were kind of feeling each other out, not only in the extra time, but maybe fatigue is starting to be a factor because it's one thing to play a midweek game, but it's another the fact that you have to play over 120 minutes. And remember, it was already the a 3 games in 7 day kind of stretch before this U.S. Open Cup. So you gotta say this is the fourth game in 10 days for both of these teams. So fatigue is definitely a factor for both of these teams as the wears along. But in the 102nd minute, LAFC took advantage of a pretty fatigue Sporting KC defense as Omar Campos would score from Oliveira to give LAFC the lead back. Yeah, just not great defending. Just it just feels like tire leg defending there from Sporting KC, not closing down whatsoever, not making the effort to to do so, and they were made to pay for that. Even though Omar Campos is not known to score some long range goal, but yeah, I made it 2-1 in this one, and in the second half of extra time. LAFC make sure that they defeat that narrative of not being able to win in a cup final because Kai Kamara would score from Bawanga to make it 3-1 in favor of LAFC, and that was a vintage Kai Kamara goal. And one thing you definitely do not want to do when you're trying to defend Kai Kamara, let him some space so he can hit this one in. Because I think besides Christian Benteke, Kai Kamara probably is the best aerial dual player, aerial threat player in this league right now. And here, Sporting KC basically let him wide open like that. Yeah, you can't do that when you're trying to defend Kai Kamara. He just got a free header there. You know it's going to be in the back of the net. And yeah, that made it 3-1 in this one. And really, that was it. After that, I just thought, yep, this is done. Because I don't think Sporting is coming back from this. I even wrote it. It looked like LAFC can taste the victory and the narrative finally comes at least somewhat in terms of them not winning a cup final. And then of course Sporting KC again. Look, they look down and out. Gata did have the last chance for Sporting KC, but he puts it wide from long range. And yeah, in the end, LAFC they finally won a cup final. It feels like it's been a while, but they finally won one. They win 3-1 against Sporting KC. The shots in this one, 18 shots for the 14 that Sporting KC had. 8 shots on goal for the 5 that Sporting KC had. Both teams had 3 shots off target. 4 shots that was blocked for the 6 that Sporting KC had. And possession-wise, 52% possession compared to the 48% possession that Sporting KC had. And I know that obviously there's going to be not only Sporting KC fans that's going to be very upset of the blown call that gone against them to play a big factor. And I know there's going to be some naysayer that say, well, this feels like a Mickey Mouse kind of final win for LAFC. I mean, one, they were facing against a team that's not doing well in the league and don't have the depth to go full 120 minutes, or the fact that they'll say that that call kind of they got benefit for some of the refereeing decision. And not to mention, as I mentioned, it's kind of feel like the Mickey Mouse Cup final win because not every team was in the U.S. Open Cup final this year. But you know what? Honestly, LAFC fans and LAFC will just responded. Yeah, here's my U.S. Open Cup ring. Just kiss it, and see it, and hope you don't get blind by it. And also, again, the refereeing decision. Yes, I know it's unfortunate that, of course, happened. But as I said before, I don't think that was the reason why Sporting KC lost this game. They just simply ran out of gas late in this one. And again, LAFC is a team that has more depth than KC had, and they were the better team when you even look at the stats and the chances that they created. In many ways, it was kind of a miracle that Sporting KC kind of got this into extra time. LAFC was really creating some big chances, and if it wasn't for Tim Melia making some big save, this game probably wouldn't have gone to extra time. It probably would have finished in regulation, which I wish that was the case because that's kind of the whole reason why I'm doing the review right now instead of yesterday because this game ended at 10:30. There's no way in the world I'm gonna do a review of both the U.S. Open Cup final and Camponenes Cup at that late in the time when I had to go to work the very next morning at 6:30 in the morning. But either way, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you do, make sure you guys like, smash the subscribe button. As always, let me know in the comments below what do you think of this U.S. Open Cup final and then also the Camponenes Cup final. And also, let me know in the comments below in terms of the Canadian Championship as well, even though I didn't review that game. But until then, hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys next time.